We're going to discuss production in the long run. So remember, in the long run, everything is variable. Things can change easily. You can decide on a small building. Next day, you're like, you know what, we need a bigger building, and we can instantly change that, no problem. Everything is variable. Okay? So because all factors are variable, the long run production function shows us the most efficient way of producing at any level of output. 0 t-shirts, 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000 t-shirts, we can see what is the most efficient way. All right, remember, labor and capital can be interchangeable. Everything is variable. Okay, and so what I mean by how we can see the most efficient way of producing at any level of output, we can create a story about what's going to happen as we increase output to really show what's going on. Okay, so the long period is the time when all costs are variable. So what happens here is you can look at all of the short run average cost curves at different points in time. All right, so that ATC that we did earlier for the farmer's market, right? We have the average total cost there, that U shape. If we were to change to another trailer or add on more labor or actually switch to a brick and mortar coffee shop, that's going to create a whole new short run ATC. And so by changing these ATCs around, the long run is going to be able to let us see all of them at the same time. Okay, so that's how we can see, like, okay, our short run average total cost is here, it's here, it's here. So the short run average total cost will change as you add on more capital and labor and you produce more output. And so the long run is going to show us all of these different ATCs as we go along. And so what that's going to form is economies of scale. Economies of scale is a situation where as the quantity goes up, the cost per unit is going down. So I'll show you what that kind of looks like. Economies of scale is really where as we produce more, the average cost is decreasing. So we were up here at 1,000 units, and now we're down here at $4 per unit at 5,000. Okay, think about this from Amazon working out of a garage, right? They can only produce a little bit, so their average cost was way up here. But as they switched to the warehouses, all right, so now they can produce more, the average cost of producing out of the warehouses has decreased. So that's our economies of scale, all right, where as we increased our production, the average cost in the long run, because everything is variable, is decreasing, all right? So let me show you what this looks like. Let's start off with the pizza shop at location number 1. So here we had what we looked at earlier with the total product and the marginal product. And we can see as we hired more labor, the marginal product does start to decrease. So right here, so what's happening? As the marginal product goes down, the average total cost is increasing. So that's why we have that U shape on the short run average cost. Now the reason this is happening is we're going to assume that this is the owner, right? And he was trying to do all the pizzas by himself, and he was able to do 50 pizzas in terms of serving the customers, making the pizzas, and being the front of house as well. Now he hires somebody else to just do pizzas, specialized in doing that. And now we have an increase of 100 pizzas because we have someone specializing in that. Then we have the third person, fourth person, and they were able to help out in certain areas. Maybe one does the register, one's washing dishes in the back, other ones are walking the pizza up from the oven to the front counter. So we are able to increase our production, right? But then we hire somebody else, and this person, like, we have too many people in the kitchen, right? They're in the way, maybe we bump into each other and spill the pizza, so now we have a negative marginal product here. So what's happening as the marginal product is going down, our average cost starts to go up. And so then comes into question of, if we do want to make more pizzas, we do need to either add on another oven or we need to create a whole new location, right? So now we can get better use of the fifth person. So to fix this, we have a new fixed input such as a new oven. Okay, so now we have location number 1 with another oven. By doing this, we gave that fifth person something to do to where now we were able to increase production, right? Because of the diminishing margin of productivity, though, the short run average cost went from decreasing to increasing again, right? See how we're going 10, 5, -5? Again, the marginal product is going down, so the average total cost is going up. So we were able to make more pizzas now because of the extra oven. We had a new fixed input, a brand new short run average cost. What we need to do now is see what happens next. So here's what's happening in terms of these this pizza shop here. So when they had the one location, this was their short run average cost, right? But then because they hired the fifth person, the cost started to go up, right? So they decided, okay, let's add on another oven. So this creates short run average cost number 2. And as you can see here, because they did the extra oven, the cost actually decreased. We went from this minimum to this minimum. So we were able to increase production and lower cost. If they were to, let's say, add on another location, but this location is different, it's a little bit farther away, well, then we would have a new short run production here, right? A new fixed input. But because this location's farther away and we have distant management, we really can't monitor as much going on, so we could have decreasing marginal product again, and so our cost could be rising. And so this creates a little phenomenon where as we increase production, our long run average cost actually was higher. We thought we were going to get better, but we didn't. Okay, so if this happens, this is called diseconomies of scale. Okay, so this is what you could be experiencing if you were a business owner, where you started off at one location, you got really good at what you wanted to do, you added on to your production to lower your cost and make more output, and then you try to do it again, but all of a sudden we start to see as you made more production, your costs actually were higher. So you were experiencing economies of scale and then diseconomies. So all in all, this is what we're going to be looking at. All of these different short run average cost curves, these are happening as you change your fixed inputs. Okay, so that's how we have all these short run average cost curves. The long run is going to be connecting all of these at one time. So all of these minimum points here on the short run average cost, you are going to connect them and create the long run average cost. That way you can see all of these at the same time, and it all comes down to one efficient point. This is your lowest cost per unit, right? So this is what the long run average cost curve is just connecting all of those short run average cost curves together. So as you can see here, from here to here, as we increased our quantity, our average cost actually decreased. This is economies of scale. Another way to saying that is increasing returns to scale. You are more efficient because you got bigger, right? If you were to add on another input and create a new short run average cost curve, but it stays the same, then you are in what is called constant returns to scale. You increased your quantity and your long run average cost curve remains constant. That's pretty good, right? But if you try to do it again, and then we see an increase in the cost, this is where we have that diseconomies of scale. Higher quantity and a higher cost. So diseconomies of scale, also called decreasing returns to scale. Okay, so this is what we're dealing with in the long run, where you have your short run average cost, you connect them to create one big average cost curve called the long run average cost, and you have your economies of scale here, or your increasing returns, and then you have your diseconomies of scale here. Okay, So that wraps up chapter 7. In chapter 8, we're going to talk about our first market structure, which is perfect competition. I'll see you there.